Epic Mickey Power of Illusion for the Nintendo 3DS is the sequel to the 1990 hit Castle of Illusion starring Mickey Mouse, which was available for the Sega Genesis. In Power of Illusion, of course you play as Mickey Mouse, and you're called upon by Oswald to basically help get rid of this evil witch Mizrabel. Mizrabel has taken over this beautiful castle and has detained Minnie Mouse and a bunch of other Disney characters, so it's up to Mickey to rescue everyone and bring everything back to normal. I actually appreciate the fact that this game has some sort of story, but I have to be honest with you guys, it's really not that interesting. And that has a lot to do with the fact that you're going to be reading a lot of dialogue, and the dialogue just isn't interesting. It's long-winded. It's just way too much for this type of game. At its core, Power of Illusion is a platformer, but unfortunately, it's my least favorite thing about this game. Mickey's jumping skills are just awful, and towards the end of the game, it becomes very annoying. He jumps way too high and then takes forever to come down. It's almost like he's floating in the air. And this becomes a problem because some of the levels are just poorly designed. So when you're going to jump off of an enemy's head, you can just easily hit spikes that are on the ceiling because you're just jumping too high. Now, you don't always have to jump on the heads of enemies. You can use some of Mickey's combat skills, but really, those aren't too much better. Mickey does have a spin attack that can be used, and that's not too bad. But then there's also this whole paint mechanic, which totally gets in the way of the game. Mickey can use both paint and thinner to not only get rid of enemies, but to also create objects to help you out in the game. Sounds like a good idea, but it doesn't work. In specific locations, you can tap the screen, and on the touch screen, you can basically trace objects, so those objects will appear in the castle. This breaks the pacing of the game. It makes the game go slower than what it should. And it just doesn't work. It's frustrating and annoying to use, and I honestly don't think it should really be in there. I understand this is an Epic Mickey game, so the paint and thinner has to be implemented in the game somehow, but I just wished it was a little bit more fine-tuned. Now, despite me having some issues with the gameplay, I can say as far as the presentation goes, it's a beautiful looking game. I think all of the characters that you come across look really good, and the castle is nicely detailed. These levels look great, and the cutscenes are made up of these beautiful drawings. The music's spectacular, especially if you're a Disney fan. I'm sure you're going to recognize some of these awesome tunes. Power of Illusion is a short ride since it's only made up of 4 main worlds. But even though there's 4 main worlds, there still feels like there's a lot to do in this game. There's a bunch of Disney characters to rescue, and then you can go into the fortress and talk to those Disney characters after you've rescued them, and they have side missions for you to do. Those are mainly fetch quests, but I mean, if you're looking for more value, it's definitely there. And you can also upgrade those rooms that they're staying in. Epic Mickey Power of Illusion isn't quite what I was wishing for when it comes to the sequel for one of my favorite Genesis games. I definitely don't think this is a bad game. I just feel like it's unfinished. Like, the controls just aren't where they should be. They're not tight at all. And the way you use both the paint and the thinner in this game is just annoying. But even with all of that being said, this game still managed to get a little smile out of me every now and again because it's Disney, and I love seeing all of these awesome characters from the movies that I love. I want to thank all of you for watching this video, and I'll check you next time.